Now that we created a data frame by importing some data, we have a data frame to work with. Once you have data imported and you have this data frame created, you might want to try and understand what the data frame looks like. So over here in this environment tab, we have this data frame. DF is the object. So if any objects we have in our environment are going to be listed here. It tells us that there are 772 observations. That's the number of rows, and 5 variables. We can figure those things out also. So we could do number of rows in the data frame. So we could look and see it has 772. That's the same thing as over here. We could do number of columns in the data frame. Tells us 5. So we can do this in script or just visually over here. Also, if I click on this blue arrow, it gives me more information. So now it tells me what the column name is. So this is the first one is the company ID, year, etc. And it gives me a little view of what those look like. It also tells me what types those columns are. So this is an integer, this is an integer, this is a number. And so we have types and we have column names. We can do the same thing with some script here. So we could do column names of the data frame, run that, and we see at the bottom it gives us the list of the column names. We can do the column types by this command str. It's going to give us the column types that we need. So notice it gives the column name with their types along with it. So it basically gives this sort of same thing we have here. We can also open the data frame. There are 2 ways to do that. So one is just to click on the object over here, and it opens up the data frame. And so it looks sort of like a spreadsheet. We can scroll down through it and look at it. We can also sort a few minor things. We can't do all the functions that you might use in a spreadsheet, but you can look and see that it looks the way you hope it would look. We can also do that with a code here. So view the data frame is the same as clicking on it. So now we can open it and look at it. We can also get a summary of the data frame. So if I do summary of the data frame, this is going to summarize each of the columns, give us a little bit of information about it. So if I look in the output, it gives us each column some of the statistics about that column. So for example, in the year, it gives us the minimum, the maximum, and some other parts of the distribution. They're all from 2003. We can get the same thing for the other columns. One last thing, if you want to just see a little bit of the data frame, you can also do head of the data frame, and that's just going to give you a small piece of the data frame. So here it gives the first 6 rows and shows you what that data frame looks like. All right, so with sort of examining the data frame, now you can have an idea of what's in there, make sure that what you imported actually matches what's in the data frame, and check anything else to make sure it's set up the way that you hope it is before you start doing any analysis.